Welcome to CES here at the CNET stage, CES 2014. We're live here at the stage at the Las Vegas Convention Center. I'm Donald Bell, she's Bridget Carey, and we're going to get to the news.
Because there's lots of it.
Plenty of it. We're going to be talking, yesterday was press day, which we'll see, maybe had more announcements than I've ever seen.
It's like an onslaught of like announcement
so
after
far.
announcement.
So we have a lot to talk about already, especially if you didn't join us yesterday. So we're going to recap some of that stuff. I think most of the stuff we saw yesterday from press day was television related. I'd say at least a lot of the big announcements.
And TVs are always big at the show.
TVs are big at the show. Last year was the kind of the big debut of 4K. This year they mean it.
More 4K.
So every TV we're seeing this year is 4K, more 4K, better 4K, maybe cheaper 4K, although prices really haven't been attached to any of these TVs yet. But we heard from Samsung, we heard from LG, we heard from Panasonic. We saw TVs from all of them. The most notable all seem to be these curved televisions.
Or no, the transformative
I'm going to get to that one, but I think even before that, there was dueling 105-inch, already curved, permanently curved displays from Samsung and LG that were nearly identical. They might differ on price once we learn what the price will be. If anyone needs a 105-inch TV, curved or not, delivered to their home, probably a wall will have to get knocked down in order for that to happen. But the other thing we saw was Samsung had, for the people who who were on the fence maybe about what kind of television they wanted, be curved or no.
You want flat, you want curved?
They had a transforming, it was like an 85-inch, a more reasonably sized TV, I suppose.
Yeah.
Still too big for me. But a bendable TV, a transforming TV.
Yeah, you just hit a button and it goes from flat to a little curve. You know, fun gimmick. Are we that desperate to find something new to sell us on now for TVs if you can't make up your mind? It is interesting because maybe you don't want to go all the way with a curved TV if you're not sure if you're going to like it or not. So they had that middle ground that maybe if you have a, curve is supposed to be immersive. If you have a big audience, you can flatten it out.
Every time I talk to someone about the curved TVs here, the follow-up question is, so why does it matter? And it doesn't. It really doesn't. It's like the bell bottoms of TVs now. It's like it's going to be a fad, right? I think from like a cinemaphile perspective, if you're really getting that really thin, like 21, I forget the aspect ratio, but like the cinema aspect ratio, and you're getting the curve, you might have a more movie-like experience.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I don't know. It's just kind of a trend. All right, so you probably already heard about all the television stuff, but what we haven't talked about a lot yet are the phones of CES, and there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
There usually isn't a lot of interesting phone announcements at CES. A lot of those either come from one-off announcements from like a Samsung, or they come from Mobile World Congress, which happens pretty soon after this. But we do see phones here. We do get some interesting phone news. I think one of the most interesting bits of information we got is that AT&T has just announced their sponsored data program for companies. This is
so you can get free data.
The deal is that AT&T is opening up the possibility for, say, like a Yahoo or a CNET to absorb the cost of delivering data to a customer. So like if a cell phone customer maybe has a very limited tier data plan on their phone, they don't want to waste any of it going to, a Google or a Yahoo or whatever, that company, Google or Yahoo, can absorb the cost of providing that data to the customer so that they can go there without incurring any data use.
Interesting way for AT&T to make a little more
Exactly,
dough,
and so they get a check from that company sponsoring it. It's like a 1-800 number for websites delivered to mobile devices.
Yeah. So also, it'll be interesting to see who takes them up on that and starts testing that out,
right.
For like browsing on the web.
I think their AT&T is claiming that this is a way for them to ease congestion of their network, but then the BS call on that some people have already made is that it still is the same data. It's just that they're getting paid from a different source. You know?
I mean, data is where they make their money.
Yeah.
So.
Interesting. Well, we'll see if that becomes a trend, whether or not companies bite on absorbing the cost or not for sponsoring data to customers. It seems like an awful idea to me, but I'm not a corporate fat cat, so I don't know.
There was some other mobile news of a different flavor that came up last night. I don't know if you caught this about T-Mobile, where their CEO, John Ledger, tried to crash the AT&T party last night.
I don't blame it. It was like a Macklemore performance at the AT&T party.
Yeah, it was Macklemore, Ryan Lewis, and he ended up getting tickets, apparently, from Macklemore's agents. So he got
after getting kicked out.
No, actually, well, I'm not sure all the details, but I know that when he got there, he ran into our CNET executive editor, Roger Cheng,
who quickly tweeted a picture of John Ledger crashing the party.
And not 15 minutes after that tweet went up, AT&T security came by and escorted him and his team away. And he's there wearing his big old pink, T-Mobile shirt, all proud, being Batman like he usually is.
He wasn't too incognito, yeah.
So,
But then he got back in. I think Macklemore and Ryan Lewis's publicist got him in.
Yeah, well, it's still one of those things where it's like, is that cool or not? I don't know, but it does show that T-Mobile likes to shake it up, and they're also having their own announcement on Wednesday, so we'll have to keep tuned to that, one of their Un-carrier announcements, to see how they're going to shake things up again with how they charge customers.
Yeah. All right. One of the cooler actual pieces of hardware I've seen from CES, Jessica Dolcourt has a piece on a BlackBerry-styled physical keyboard case for the iPhone. This is really interesting because it provides for all those BlackBerry people who can't give up their keyboard. This is the answer, supposedly. Jessica Dolcourt is actually pretty excited about it.
This got a lot of buzz even before CES. Everyone's been waiting to see what it's like in person.
And it's supposedly just exactly styled after the BlackBerry physical keyboard, so it gives you that tactile interface for your keyboard.
It's so exact that BlackBerry is suing them. Actually, yeah, they're going to have to deal with that lawsuit now for the fact that the keyboard is too much alike. There was a lot of hype about that because everyone's like, oh, finally a good keyboard for an iPhone. So maybe that'll take off or not. We'll have to see.
I also like this. This is a phone from CAT, like the manufacturer of like construction trucks and equipment. A super ruggedized phone that can just take a beating. We've seen these kind of year after year. This is like the updated version of it. The specs are nothing that you would go out and buy it for necessarily, but if you want to look like a real BA carrying a phone around, this is like the ultra testosterone phone of the year.
Yeah, you could probably run it over with construction equipment.
All right. Two more stories here. Another big trend here at CES 2014 are the wearables.
Yes. The
Pebble Steel watch. Did you get a chance to see this yet?
Oh, this thing looks so slick.
This is the Pebble 2.0.
Pebble was big last year at the show, and now comes in metal.
Yeah. Well, also it looks like it's slimmed down. It kind of looks like a big, like a
toy.
It looked like a toy that was strapped to your wrist. This one goes incognito, and I don't think it's going to trip off the nerd alert when you wear it around. We'll see.
It's got a lot of apps now. They didn't have an app store before. Now there's apps already from Foursquare and Yelp and ESPN, and it works with Mercedes cars. So they're really kind of showing how your smartwatch can actually make sense to you for glancing at information very quickly.
Right. And then for the more fitness-friendly, or at least fitness-focused wearable tech, there's the Razer Naboo, one I did not expect to see because Razer is more of a gaming peripheral company. But they've got the Naboo health tracker with 2 screens.
Yeah.
That's the big innovation here. One that just kind of tips you off that something's happened, the smaller screen, and then when you want to get more information, you flip it around and you can actually read a text message or a tweet or whatever.
Yeah, kind of like the best of both worlds, fitness and also your texting. I can show Twitter messages on it too.
Yeah.
Of course, I thought it was funny the name they picked, Naboo.
Naboo.
It's not like the Star Wars Naboo. N-A-B-U.
All right. So that was all the news from before CES has even kicked off. Because we're here right now on the first day. There's going to be even more stuff to talk about. So stick with us here at CNET all day. That's it for the Inside Scoop. Tomorrow morning, we're going to be back with the latest news every morning here at CES. And stay tuned for CNET Live from CES. There's a whole lot more coming today, including a torture test. The 404 team is here. And we have that Pebble Steel smartwatch is going to be on the show. At 3 p.m. we have the next big thing, Super Session, followed by my own Attack of the Drones show, where no drones will actually be attacking people, but you should still come and see it. You can't miss that, so stay tuned right here at CNET.com.